Ah, I am alone in this moment, but I am not physically alone. I am alone because I don't have my past with me. I don't have thoughts of emotions. I am just here in my silence in this moment, and I am alone. Don't confess aloneness with loneliness. The joy is in the journey. Don't let in too great a hurry to arrive. What are you going to do when you get there? The moment you arrive, the game is up. You just walk and talk and eat and accept what is. There's nothing to do. There is no problem to solve. No drama that you can take seriously. Not even the drama of life and death. So what will you do? The journey is from here to here, and the only time you can arrive is now. The only way to get to light is through darkness. Do not be afraid of the dark. The present moment is the doorway to the eternal. If you stand at the doorway long enough, God will come to greet you. Normally we function at the level of mind, which means that all our experiences are filtered through the mind. However, the mind can never participate in the present moment. It can never participate in the reality of the here and now. The mind can only function in the past or a projection of the past, which we call the future. It is possible to awaken to a higher level of consciousness. It is possible to awaken to the level of being, what we function not in the mind, but in the reality of the present moment. When you awaken to the level of being, there is no relationship between you now and you in the past. This is simply because the present moment is utterly free of the past. You do not have to fix yourself up. That is necessary. All you have to do is awaken to the level of being, and that is the simplest and the most difficult way. The price of freedom is to allow freedom. Very few people are willing to pay the price. Once you truly understand the nature of the mind, you will begin to awaken. The master cannot remain asleep when he or she realizes that the servant has taken over the house. At the level of being, you are already complete and whole. You don't have to grow into it or fix yourself up. You just have to tune into it. You just have to wake up. Awakening to the level of being is a continuing process. Sometimes awakening can be sudden and profound, but more often it is a journey along a path that takes time, effort, and understanding. A bird's eye view of the mind. Awakening to the level of being gives you a perspective which was not available to you before. It gives you a bird's eye view of yourself. It enables you to become watchful of yourself at the level of mind, which includes your thoughts, emotions, attitudes, and beliefs. It includes all your past experiences which consciously define you and limit you. The beliefs which were formed in early childhood about yourself, others, and life are programmed into your mind at an unconscious level and define you and determine your experience of life. A bird's eye view of the mind. Until you awaken to a higher level of consciousness, there is no way to be watchful of yourself at the level of mind. The more you are watchful in a spirit of unconditional love and acceptance, the more you will become awakened. You cannot be that which you are watching. In fact, you are the watcher. In moments of transcendence, both the watcher and the watch disappear, and all that is left is watching, which is pure consciousness, and at the deepest level, this is who you are. Early childhood programming of the mind. Here is a list of some of the more common beliefs about yourself, others, and life which may have been programmed into your mind in early childhood and which might still be unconsciously determining your experience of life, which once belonged to you. I am not wanted, I am not loved, I am not lovable, I am not accepted. I am not good enough, I can't do it. I am alone, I am separate, I am abandoned. I can't depend on others. I have to do it on my own. It's not safe to trust. I have to be controlled. It is not safe to relax. Nobody understands me. Nobody listens to me. I don't count. I can't express myself. It's not safe to speak out. I can't say so. I can't ask for what I want. I can't have what I want. I am a nuisance. There must be something wrong with me. I can't cope. I am not safe. Life isn't safe. It's my fault. I am to blame. It's their fault. They are to blame. I am stuck. I am trapped. I don't want to be here. It's not safe to live. I don't belong. I don't fit in. It's not safe to show my feelings. I have to hide my feelings. I have to be good. I have to do the right thing. I have to be nice. I must not upset others. I am not worthy. I can't trust my own judgment. I can't trust my own feelings. I have to be brave. I have to be strong. Just to name a few. The nature of the mind. One of the most basic and primary function of the mind is collating, identifying, and comparing. Everything you experience will be processed. Though the mind and identified, collated, labeled, and compared. All of this occurs at an unconscious level. The mind needs to fit what you are currently experiencing into its field of known experience. Most of the time, this collating function is routine and is not particularly disturbing, but it deadens you to the reality of the present moment. It gives you the sense that you already know what is here, so that you do not really have to be here. You do not really have to see, hear, feel, touch, or smell what is actually here, because you already know it. This knowledge deadens you. It puts you to sleep. You miss out on experiencing life, because your life is always of things past and never of things immediate and present. However, sometimes this collating function is not routine and can be very disturbing. There are a number of your past experiences which are threatening, so that when they were identified and stored in your mind as memory, they were given a special tag, danger, be aware. Those past experiences which have been tagged are usually experiences in your early childhood and were often followed by feelings of anger. Any of your current experiences which remind you to those tagged experiences will trigger off your alarm systems and place you on special alert. In a very real sense, you are regressing to the earlier experience, projecting it onto the current situation, and then you react as you did then. What you legitimately found threatening in your early childhood is clearly no longer a threat, and yet you are still reacting as a child, according to your childhood reality, as long as it remains unconscious and you will continue to do. The primary purpose of the mind is survival. Congratulations, you have survived. Now what will your mind do? The mind will create 1,000 problems so that it can find 1,000 solutions. Conditioning the mind. At the level of mind, you have been conditioned into beliefs which simply are not true, and you will allow these beliefs to define you. You are defined according to your sex, race, religion, and nationality. All of these things define who you are, and you accept the definition and live within the boundaries and limits of this definition. It is all illusory in nature, and yet you will defend it to the very end. A Christian will have a totally indifferent experience visiting Mecca than a Muslim. But Mecca remains the same, no matter who's living. The difference lies solely in the conditioning. If an Australian and an American listen to the Star-Spangled Banner, their experience of the song will be entirely different, but the song remains the same. It is this aspect of the mind that leads to religious and racial prejudice, nationalism, fundamentalism, and eventually to war. The cold, harsh reality is that you have been conditioned into believing that these things really define who you are, and they do not. This conditioning imprisons you into the very outer shell of your personality. Until you renounce this conditioning, you cannot break free and move towards the center of your being. Until you let go this conditioning, you cannot wake up out of the dream. You cannot awaken. The one who sets off on the journey of awakening will not survive the journey. Such is the radical nature of awakening. If silence is the doorway, then love is the key. Everything is unfolding as it should according to the will of God. If it happened, then it was the will of God. If it is happening, then it is the will of God. And if it will happen, then that is the will of God. You get lost because you think there is someone to go. If you give up believing in a goal or a destination, then you cannot get lost. In the present moment, there is no destination. Keys to awakening. The most important key to awakening is to be unconditionally loving and accepting of yourself at the level of mind, which includes all those you would like to change about yourself. Jealousy, possessiveness, control, judgment, helplessness, inadequacy, blame, guilt, uncertainty, arrogance, acceptation, resentment, anger, sadness, frustration, dependency, just to name a few. To want to change any of these qualities in you is a subtle rejection of them, which is not unconditional acceptance. The key is to identify all of these qualities as they arise within you. Hide absolutely nothing from yourself. This is the starting point. Own all these things. Be willing to accept that at the level of mind, this is who you are. The more you own and accept, the more will be relieved to you. And if you remain watchful in the process, then the deeper you will become grounded in watchfulness, in being. The second key to awakening is to allow yourself emotions full expression. There are many emotions from the past which you repressed for good reason, but they want to be released. So it is necessary to find an opportunity to release old emotions like anger and sadness. Once released, they will be gone forever. And as new emotions arise, allow them full expression. If you are angry, then yell and shout or beat up a cushion. If you are sad, then cry. But it is important to take full responsibility for your emotional reactions. No one is to blame for them. They are coming from your past, which you are projecting onto the present situation. Do not express your anger at the one that you believe has angered you. Just beat up a cushion, imagining it is the one who has angered you. And if you are totally and unconditionally loving and expecting of your anger, it will reveal its secret to you. The third key to awakening is confession. If you confess these qualities to someone who is absolutely non-judgmental and who is fully present, it helps you to own the quality to which you are confessing. In your confession, you are saying, "This is me. This is who I am. I am possessive and controlling. Or I am blaming, or I always get angry when I don't get my own way, or I will not allow myself to get too close to people because I am afraid I might be rejected." By confessing it and owning it, it is released, and you are freed to the level of being where none of these qualities exist. They cannot exist because they are not a part of the true nature of being. They exist only at the level of mind. The fourth key to awakening is to accept full responsibility for yourself. This will release you from the world of expectation, resentment, blame and guilt. It will lead you into total freedom. The fifth key to awakening is to let go, you dance, lose control. Responsibility. To be responsible has nothing to do with others, and yet it is deeply engraved into your minds and that you are responsible for others and that others are responsible for you. It is the major factor operating in your relationships. You are responsible for others. You have to fulfill their expectation. You are guilty if you fail. You are to blame. It's your fault. You suffer from guilt, blame, resentment, and the heavy burden of responsibility as a direct result of accepting responsibility for others. All you have to do is declare yourself not responsible for others, and these feelings are dissolved immediately. Then why will you not do? Because you cannot declare yourself free of responsibility for others. Without declaring others free of responsibility for you, you would have to surrender your expectations of others completely, which means that no one is to blame. When you don't get your way, no one is to blame when you don't get what you want. No one has to give you anything. You have to get it for yourself, which throws you back onto yourself. If no one is responsible for you and you are not responsible for them, it moves most of your reasons for being involved with others. It means that you don't need others, and your relationships are largely based on need, although most of you will not admit it, not even to yourself. To give up being responsible for others and assume responsibility for yourself is to enter into your aloneness, and you will not enter your aloneness. The true meaning of responsibility. There are 4 aspects to responsibility. When all 4 are present in your life, you can truly say that you are being responsible. First, you must be able to respond to whatever is arising in the moment. You must become responsible. You must be able to respond spontaneously. It is your true nature, but it has been conditioned out of you. If you are hungry, eat. If you are thirsty, drink. If you feel ecstatic, dance or sing. Celebrate. If you are somewhere that you like, say hello. Take a dog for a walk. A dog will teach you about responsiveness. The second thing is to take full responsibility for your reactions. You are constantly reacting emotionally to people and events in your life. You feel hurt or angry or misunderstand. You feel unloved or sad, and it is always someone else's fault. Someone else is to blame. They are somehow responsible for your reactions. You do not realize that your reactions are almost entirely due to your conditioning and your past experience. Your experiences as a child unconsciously determine and define your experience of others and life now. You project the past onto the present moment. Nobody is responsible for your emotional reactions. Nobody is to blame. But of course, if that is true, then you are released from responsibility for the reactions of others. The third aspect is to take responsibility for getting what you want, which means that you will have to know what you want. Very few people really know that they were wanting is immediate and real, arising out of the moment and not the mind. If what you want arises out of the mind, then it is a desire aimed at fulfilling. Something missing from the past which you imagine will fulfill you in the future. Once you know what you want, then it is your responsibility to get it. If it involves other people, ask for what you want and be willing to compromise. If it does not involve others, then just do what is stopping you. Ordinarily, we live with expectations which we don't express, and when those expectations are not met, we become resentful, which we hide until it festers into anger and then hatred. Expectation places responsibility onto others. Nobody is here to fulfill your expectations. No, nor are you here to fulfill the expectations of others. The final thing is that you are responsible for your own awakening. Nobody else can do it for you. It is up to you to do whatever you have to do in order to awaken. To awaken is your ultimate responsibility in truth, and it is your only responsibility. And once you awaken, it becomes your responsibility to remain awake, which involves remembering to me here now and not lost in the mind. It is a responsibility that has to be remembered moment to moment. Letting go of the other, accepting aloneness. At the level of mind, you are always involved with the other. You either love the other or hate the other. You want something from the other. You have expectations of the other. You try to control or manipulate the other. You judge the other or you reject the other. You resent or blame the other, or you feel guilty towards the other. In any event, you are deeply involved with the other. Sometimes it is pleasant and sometimes it is a nightmare. But one thing is for sure, you are not alone. In order to move from the level of mind to the center of your being, you will have to leave the other behind. You will have to gradually surrender your expectations, resentment, blame and guilt in relation to the other. But as you let go of your involvement in the other and before you connect with the essential nature of your being, you are in a kind of limbo. You are no longer connected with the other, but you are not yet sufficiently connected with yourself, and so a sense of loneliness arises, a sense of alienation. Most of you are unwilling to endure this loneliness. You turn around and resume your connection with the other, no matter how dysfunctional and connection might be. You return to the love, the hate, the blame, the guilt, and the resentment. It is less painful than being alone, at least it is familiar. If only you are willing to continue on your journey towards yourself, eventually that you would reach close enough to the center of your being so that the feeling of loneliness disappears and is replaced by a sense of aloneness which is incredibly full and enriching. When you are in the way to alone, but you are not yet there, you will feel lonely. If you keep going, you will reach to alone, and then loneliness disappears. Beyond boundaries. In order to have a sense of individual identity, you must have a sense of your own boundaries. Your physical body is one of your boundaries. Your energy body is another. It is essential to maintain your boundaries in a state of good repair if you are to be an empowered individual with a strong sense of your essential self. No one has the right to intrude into you. No one has the right to penetrate beyond your boundaries. To do so would be a violation of you and would lead to confusion within you about the identity. You would begin to lose touch with your essential self as outside influences and energies enter into you and contaminate your sense of who you really are. It is true that your boundaries give you the sense of being separate, which can sometimes be painful, but it is only by accepting that you are separate that you will begin to move beyond separation. Only those whose boundaries are clear and intact will be able to awaken into a state of being where the boundaries begin to dissolve. Only those who protect and maintain the integrity of their boundaries will be able to awaken into the oneness of all things. Such is the paradoxical nature of your existence. Be yourself and only yourself. Be careful what you allow into your body and into your space. Even the food you put into your body is crucial to your well-being and to your sense of self. Take care of yourself. Do not allow anything outside of you to contaminate you. Whatever you read affects you. The television programs you watch, the movies you see, and the music you listen to have a profound impact upon you. Be discriminating, be discerning, but do not be judgmental. If you live a refined life, you will become more refined. Choose your friends wisely. Do not allow others to get caught up inside you or attached to you. And don't you become caught up with or attached to others. You must be yourself and only yourself if you are to know the truth of who you are. Only you. Nothing is meant to be inside of you other than you. No one is meant to enter into you except you. Not even your loved ones. The inner dimension of your being is meant to be clear and uncultured. You will have to clear the past out of you. You will have to clear the future out of you. You will have to clear thoughts and emotions out of you. You will have to clear opinions, concepts and beliefs out of you. You will have to clear your mother out of you. You will have to clear your father out of you. You will have to clear past relationship out of you. You will have to clear expectation and resentment out of you. You will have to clear blame and guilt out of you. You will have to clear from your mind and from your being. Any spiritual, physics, psychic and soul influences or energies which are aligned to you and which are not strictly aspects of your true self. In short, you will have to clear out of you anything which is aligned to you. God wants you whole. God wants you pure. God wants you fully present. If you begin to clear yourself in the way that I am suggesting, then sooner or later you will find yourself whole and pure and present. There will be nothing inside you other than you and the living presence of the one true God is within you. To clear yourself of all these things, you must first learn the art of being fully present. As you become more present, you will become filled with an inner silence. At the very heart of that inner silence is God. Begin to pray to God. Always pray God as God the One. There is but one true God, and that is God the One. Address your prayers into that inner silence. Address your prayers to God the One. If your prayers are sincere, they will be heard by God. Ask God to help you clear from yourself anything inside you which is not the truth of you. Anything inside which is. Ask God to assist you in becoming more present. Ask God to assist you in becoming more conscious in the experience of your thoughts and feelings. Ask God to free you from illusion. Ask God to help you to awaken into the truth of